So we're going to compute the alpha critical value for a t-distributed random variable with k degrees of freedom. Now the notation for something like this is going to be a lowercase t with two subscripts. The first one's going to be the alpha, the second one's going to be the degrees of freedom. So what we're going to find right now is t of 0.05 and 6. So the alpha is going to be 0.05 and the k is going to be 6 degrees of freedom. To do this, there's two options. The first one is to use the inverse t function on the calculator. To do that, we have to enter 6 as our second number because that's going to be our degrees of freedom. The first number, because it takes 2, is going to be our 1 minus our alpha, or 1 minus 0.05. For us, that's 0.95, and that'll give us 1.943. This is an option if you have a TI-84. Not all TI-84s, but most of them have this function on it, so you can get away with doing this. Now, if you have, say, a TI-83 or a TI-84 that doesn't have the option, you can always use the solver on the calculator. Now, the solver requires you to type in a nice long line that would start with 0 equals something minus TCDF, a negative 2 to the 99, comma an x, comma something, and then we'll go through some other steps, and eventually we'll hit the alpha button and the enter button, and that'll give us our solution. Now this second number we got to fill in is our degrees of freedom. So that's going to be 6, and our first number is our 1 minus alpha, so it'll be the 0.95. Now if you want to do this in the calculator with, say, a TI-84, what you're going to do is click on second, and then go to bars, and then you're going to go down to where it says inverse t, it's number 4. You'll choose on that and hit enter. Then there'll be two lines to fill in here, the area and the degrees of freedom line. For the area, you're going to put in the 1 minus alpha, or the 1 minus 0.05, which turns out to be 0.95. For the degrees of freedom, you're going to type in 6. And then you're going to go down to paste and hit on enter. And it'll give you a line that says inverse t, 0.95, comma, 6. Then the close parenthesis, hit on enter again, and you'll get your answer. Now you might have the little wizard pop up that tells you area and degrees of freedom, but you can always type this line in for inverse t, and then 0.95, comma, and 6 in parentheses, and it'll give you the same answer there. Now for those of you with the TI-83s, you hit on math, then you arrow up, and the first option at the bottom will be solver. You hit on enter. Now there's going to be several lines showing up there. You want to go up as high as you can, so arrow up until it stops, and you'll have EQN 0 equals and then something. You want to clear that out. So you hit on clear. Then we're going to type in that line we had, the 0.95, which is our 1 minus alpha. Then we do minus. Then we type in the TCDF, so that's second in vars, and we arrow down to TCDF. Ignore the fact that you see that inverse t. I'm demonstrating this on a TI-84. The TI-83 doesn't have the option. So now we have 0.95 minus TCDF. Then we want to type in a large negative number, so negative 2 to the 99, comma. Then we want to put in the x. Then we want to go ahead and put in our degrees of freedom, so we'll do a comma and then 6. And then we'll throw in a close parenthesis. And if we go down and hit on enter, it's going to jump us down a line where it says x equals, and then it'll be something. Okay, we want to change that something to 0. It'll sort of reset it for us. So it's x equals 0 now. And then we'll go ahead and hit on alpha. And then we'll hit on enter. And we'll get some little scrolls in the corner. That means it's computing. And when it's done, we'll have x equals 1.943, just like the first time. And that's how we can do this on a TI-83 that doesn't have the inverse t option.